Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Our Checkout Say, where ideas take shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She's the author of several books and the author of High on Life, unpacking everyday wisdom, stories of vulnerability, strength, and the human heart. No other than Miss Lorie Kleiner Eckert. Welcome, Miss Lorie, an abstract essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Sure. Hi, Daniel. Thank you for having me on your show. And yes, you did a good job. High on Life is my new book. I'm Lorie Kleiner Eckert. I have over 30 years in the motivation field. I have been a motivational speaker. I'm the author of 5 books. I've written a syndicated and award winning column. And currently, I write both a regular blog, a slice of life blog, and a book blog. I have reviewed over 200 books that other people have written on my website. So I write a lot. In all of my creative endeavors, I have told the stories of my life, hoping that other people can glean life lessons from them. And so the new book, High on Life, is a compilation of 36 stories ranging in topics from belly fat to the singer Billy Joel. And
Mm,
each of these stories
mhm,
have, some kind of life lesson. So the belly fat story is about self acceptance. And the Billy Joel story is about anger management because he has a song, Big Shot, that is just, he's just full of rage. And so it's about forgiveness and so forth. So I just write about none of it's rocket science, just human emotions. And I tell the stories of my life, hoping that people will glean life lessons. So I worked as a motivational speaker for 10 years, talking to every kind of group from PTAs to Procter and Gamble.
mm.
And I feel like I worked as a cheerleader with the message that life can be difficult, but that you indeed can handle it. So, and now I'm back with a new book, proudly from Bancroft Press, and I'm thrilled to be here with you, Daniel.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Laurie. Thank you. Let's start with a beautiful title, High on Life. Why is high the perfect metaphor for a kind of everyday wisdom that you explore in this book?
Well, high is a mystical word in Hebrew. It means life. Some people have heard the toast when you're toasting over a glass of wine. You might say "l'chaim" to life.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just drinking a toast to life. And if you read these, it's funny, the book, even though I want my readers to read the entire thing from start to finish, you really don't have to. You can open it up to any page and read. The stories are short, they're 2 or 3 pages long. And then they all of them have, it's a really cool book. It's a gift book. It's square in shape, 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches. And each story is illustrated with a full color illustration that has a one line takeaway. So, for instance, in this celebration of life, in one of the stories, it's a celebration of life, I tell 30 reasons to be grateful at my granddaughter's soccer game. And one of the reasons was that some other grandma had her shirt on inside out, but it wasn't me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was grateful for that. And then the one line takeaway is that there is always something to be grateful for. So that's
Yes.
that's how that book High on Life works.
Yes, there is always something to be grateful. I like that, Miss Laurie. The subtitle mentions stories of vulnerability, strength, and the human heart. How do these three elements intertwine to create the unique flavor of your book message?
Well, I think that when it comes to vulnerability, I have my dearest friend Roberta, who we've been friends since we were 5 years old. She's always kind of astounded that I am so open, that I tell the stories of my life. And for instance, the story about belly fat, I talk about the fact that I really wish I had a smaller tummy, but after 3 kids, this is what I've got, and I'm grateful for having the kids, so then I have to be grateful for the tummy as well. So she's always so astounded that I can be so open and honest and vulnerable in writing. So that's a story of vulnerability. A story of strength would be, oh, that I went on a trip with my granddaughter when she was 12, and we were going from the United States to Israel. And I was a little nervous about that trip, but my daughter, my granddaughter's mother, wanted me to project as if I were a strong person. So I pretended to be, Helen Reddy in that song, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be that kind of a strong woman when I was with Tilly. So kind of like fake it till you make it. But we did go to Israel and everything worked out fine. And yay, I did it. So that would be a story of strength. And then, really, there's just so many things about the human heart in this book, particularly stories that I tell of my family and my love for my family. In my case, my father's family, his immediate family came to the United States in 1912 or 14, but the rest of the family died in the Holocaust. So family has been very important to me. And so lots of the stories talk about memories of families and stories of families. So that's how High on Life is about vulnerability, strength, and stories of the human heart.
What was the defining moment or inspiration that compelled you to gather these stories and unpack this specific type of wisdom, Miss Laurie?
Well, it's funny, but what caused this fifth book of mine to be written is that I had written a fourth book. So my first three books had been published by Pelican Publishing Company. And my fourth book, I couldn't find a publisher for, so I self-published it. And and then when I self-published it, I was told that I needed to create a website, and I
Mm-hmm.
did. And then the website creator told me I needed to write a blog to bring people to the website on a regular basis. And so I started to write stories, and I've always, 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 always told the stories of my life, hoping others could glean life lessons from it. So I started writing my stories again. I write 2 stories every month, and I post them on the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday of every month on my website, which is my name, loriekleinereckert.com. So tomorrow is I don't know when this show plays, or are we live? I'm not sure. But tomorrow is the 4th Tuesday of November. So a new story is going to post. And that story is about how hard it is to be a woman getting dressed for a party. because, you have to worry about that F word, fashion. So that is the story that's getting published tomorrow. And so that's how I came to writing again. I wrote in order to promote my fourth book. And then I realized that the stories I was writing were what we call evergreen, that they're
Hmm.
topical. They're not newsworthy. They're not just for today. They're forever. And so I compiled 36 stories. Some of them have been published before, some are new. And I submitted them to Bruce Boards, who's the owner and publisher of Bancroft Press, and he liked it and he published it. So that's how this all happened. I wrote a fifth book because I wrote a fourth book. Kind of a funny story.
Congratulations, Miss Laurie. These stories feel deeply personal. How did you navigate the vulnerability of sharing your own experiences alongside the stories of others?
Yeah, well, like I said, my one friend can't quite understand or doesn't. She's proud of me that I can tell the stories of my life and be so vulnerable. But I will tell you the truth and tell you that if I had a big fight with a friend or whatever, I'm not going to air that dirty linen and, that dirty laundry in a story. So even though I am very honest and open and vulnerable in my writing, I'm also very guarded and I don't, I don't tell tales on other people, or if I'm telling a tale on them, I ask permission to tell a tale on them. But it's always when I'm doing that, it's like that soccer game, 30 reasons to be grateful at my granddaughter's soccer game. Do I have permission from my granddaughter and from my daughter and son-in-law to publish such a story? Of course, it's all good stuff. So even though I am telling stories, I do have a filter. And if I have a fight with you, you're never going to see that in print. So I'm guarded. As open as I am also very guarded. Taking care of others, protecting others, definitely.
Yes, for sure. So, in a world that often value quick fixes and loud opinions, how does the quiet, steep wisdom of high offer a more sustainable path forward?
Yeah, well, definitely, I must have some essay, though I don't think it's in High on Life, where I say that the goal in life is to think twice and say nothing. So that's one of my main main philosophies here.
Hmm. And Miss Laurie, for someone feeling disconnect or numb of their own life, what is the first step your book encourages them to take to re-engage with their own story?
Yeah, oh, that's actually, Daniel, one of my major topics, and there is a story of it in High in Life that I call How to Reinvent Yourself. So if you're disconnected or if you're feeling numb, it's time to reinvent yourself. And often when you're feeling disconnected or numb, you're not really ready to take on anything too major. So my methodology for reinventing yourself is very, very simple. It only has two steps. The first step is to have a healthy daily routine and to do that routine. So this means you do have to get up out of bed every day and you have to get dressed and you have to eat nourishing food and you have to exercise. And in my opinion, you really need to go somewhere every day. You can't be homebound because that doesn't work. That leaves you even more disconnected and more numb. So the first step is to have a daily routine And the second step, again, intentionally, this is so simple because when you're disconnected or numb, you can't do anything too fancy. It's got to stay simple. So the second step is to take one step a day in the direction of your new life, of your connected life, of your not numb life. And the step that I'm talking about can be teeny tiny step, but every day if you take a step, you'll move in the direction of a new life. There's just no two ways about it. And sometimes a step that you take is going to be a misstep or a sidestep. That's okay. Just keep taking those steps. And lo and behold, after you take enough steps, you're going to be pretty far away from that disconnected and numb person into being back alive again.
Baby steps, people, baby steps. And how can reading about another person's vulnerability actually give us permission to be more compassionate with ourselves?
Oh, well, I think that that's like going to a support group that you quickly learn that that your problem isn't maybe as bad as others, or that if yours is the worst story at the support group, people are offering you some loving, some suggestions, the couple of warm arms to hold you or whatever. So I think that the book functions in the same way, that as you read about my stories, that you do identify with them. Maybe you haven't had the same exact experience. Maybe you didn't go to your granddaughter's soccer game and experience 30 reasons to be grateful. But by reading my 30 reasons to be grateful, you might see more gratitude around you. You might, just be driving down the street listening to my book on audio tape and hearing your
Mhm.
story, and be grateful that there's gas in your tank, that you didn't crash when that guy in front of you stopped suddenly, that you're driving to see someone that you know and love. There's just so many, so my reasons for being grateful were so different from that, but they inspire you to be grateful for your own reasons. So I'll tell you, in the days when I was a motivational speaker, so for 10 years I was a motivational speaker, and I spoke to every sort of group from PTAs to Procter and Gamble. And oftentimes at the end of a program, the group would send out evaluations for people to say how much they liked or disliked my program. And for the most part, people really liked it because of the vulnerability that I show and because they can identify. And the greatest compliment I get from people is that they say when they read my stories, they feel like I'm sitting in their living room talking just to them. And so I do think that I work as a cheerleader with the message that life is difficult, but you can do it. I mean, I can't say that enough times. That's who I am. That's who I am.
Yes, indeed. So, Miss Laurie, what is one piece of everyday wisdom you most hope readers carry with them long after they finish the final chapter?
Let's see, a bit of everyday wisdom. Well, after 36 chapters in the book, there is a compilation of all 36 one-line takeaways. So, so there's always something to be thankful for, plus 35 others. So I want them to be able to go back to that and to carry away some message that's theirs. But there's a story in the book that I guess I hope will be their real takeaway from the entire book. So it's again about the trip that I took to Israel with my granddaughter when she was 12. and the grandparents, it was an event for intergenerational groups. So it was grandparents with their grandchildren, and the grandparents had to write a message to their grandchild that was going to be read in Israel. And what I said to Tilly, my granddaughter, was that I wanted her to preserve some memory from the trip so that when she was having a bad day, she could return to that memory inside her head and relive that warm, wonderful time we had together. So I think that maybe would be my message for people reading this book, that if there is one message that really speaks to them, that they take that away as their one line reminder from High on Life, that they can look to when they're having a bad day and they need to be refreshed, replenished, whatever.
Mm.
That would be great. That would be great everyday wisdom for them to take.
That'd be awesome, Miss Laurie. In our digital, often isolated age, how can we create more spaces for the kind of real heart to heart connections that your book celebrates?
Well, I think that goes back to my very easy two-step recipe for self reinvention, and that you have to have a healthy daily routine. And for me, part of a healthy daily routine is to be in touch with somebody else. So I think you have to hopefully talk to someone on the phone or in person. But short of that, you have to email with someone or you have to text with someone and you have to just stay in touch. So I have my brother, for instance, lives in Arizona and I'm in Ohio. We don't get to see each other very much, but I have made a commitment that I text him every week. And I just say something, just something. And often he doesn't respond, but sometimes he does. And I think he knows, he recognizes that he's hearing from me. And so hopefully when he's having a bad day, he doesn't feel all alone in the world because there's Lori in Ohio thinking of him. So I think that's a great thing for anyone who feels isolated. And I don't know, Daniel, if you know how people suggest a book to a publisher. So you submit a book proposal and you have to tell why this is a timely book, why it needs, not just should be on the market, but needs to be on the market. And when I was promoting High on Life to publishers, we were really just out of the pandemic and we were facing so much isolation, which we still do. And I felt that this book, with the philosophy that I just described, is very helpful for an isolated world.
Isolated world. So, Miss Laurie, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in third season, and food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, and Music 101 our fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101 and second season, and my baby podcast Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Laurie, finally, if this book could start a quiet revolution of empathy and self awareness, what would the revolution look like in our everyday interactions?
Oh, well, it would involve hugging, I think.
I love hugging.
I'm reminded of the song, "Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, time to love one another right
Mm-hmm.
now." So I'm thinking that would be the quiet revolution, is just to be a little bit more open, to be a little bit more vulnerable, to maybe say to someone, "Hey, I don't have anyone to have Thanksgiving dinner with, wanna go out to dinner together," or whatever, and just have a meeting of more people getting together and have in relationship, out of isolation and into relationship. And yes, out of that disconnect and out of that numbness that you mentioned earlier, that would be great. That would be a great uh, revolution as a result of High on Life.
Mm. Definitely, Miss Lorie. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world through your books. So, can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Oh, I would be delighted to do that. So my name is Lorie Kleiner Eckert. And if you go to loriekleinereckert.com, you will find the blogs that I post every week. You will find the book reviews that I post every week. You will find writing prompts for doing some journaling to get in touch with your own inner soul. You'll find everything you want to know about me, plus where to find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm everywhere, but I'm always Lorie Kleiner Eckert.
Yes, people support Miss Lorie because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Miss Lorie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. It's been a delight.
Welcome, people. See you soon.